again. We know this is what we're meant to do. So we wake up, put our feet on the floor, go and conquer the day like a warrior, like warriors. Cause that's what a tribe does. We got your back so you can relax and focus on all the important stuff, like getting your business done. This is our tribe. We look out for each other. That's right, that's right. This is our tribe. We help each other grow in business and life. That's right, that's right. No need to panic anymore. We got lots of support and an army of warriors by our side. We fight the good fight when we unite. We fight the good fight when we unite. Cause that's what a tribe does. We got your back so you can relax and focus on all the important stuff, like getting your business done. This is our tribe. We look out for each other. That's right, that's right. This is our tribe. We help each other grow in business and life. That's right, that's right.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Coffee Chat Show. My name is Sondra Ray, and I have the pleasure of being the host with the amazing panelists from Explore Protech, Mr. Peter and Miss Megan. How are you today, Peter?
Unable to find the mute button. Yes, I'm doing well, thank you. It's been interesting. It's rather hot this side though. I don't know what the weather's like on your side.
Well, I'm not freezing, so that was last week. Last week we were freezing. Pretty much 80% of the US was freezing, like snow on the beaches in Florida, like just crazy, crazy weather. So yeah, everybody's pretty much thawed out. I think the upper East Coast is still under the snow. So yeah, this week is supposed to be warmer, sun shining. Yeah, so snow's melting. So we'll see. But it's into January, it's Michigan, and it'll change in 5.2 seconds. So very normal. Yes. Yeah. I always love the fact that, yeah, you guys are like, I'm gonna go jump in the pool. And I'm like, let me go put on another layer. So, but you know, in the summer, I'll be jumping in the pool and you'll all be with the hats and the thermals and the everything. So definitely, definitely. So today's topic is one of my favorites. Goals. We're going to talk about goals today, goal setting strategies, and why I waited until the end of January to pick this topic. There's a reason for that because a lot of people are like, I got to know it on January 1st. And guess what? You don't got to know it on January 1st. Just giving you that permission. So I'm going to dive right in. So goal setting is that you're setting goals. What are goals? Goals are the things that you want to reach, whether that's financial, business growth, starting a business, selling a business, hiring staff, getting grants, everything in between. So goals are a large range of things. I always say the easiest way to think about a goal is it's the target. Like, what are you shooting for? Because if you just shoot arrows in the air, like, what are you shooting? For fun, I guess. And that works. Not really. But you kind of have to know what you're aiming for. And goals are they're tweakable. You can change them. You can ditch them. I hardly ever say ditch a goal. I mean, there really has to be extreme circumstances to like just take a goal and throw it out. And there's a reason for that. But so that's like my definition of a goal. So the thing you're aiming for, the thing you want to get done. So that's that. The reason I waited until the end of December. Oh my goodness, let me like not skip 12 months. the end of January to do goal setting is because a lot of people get wrapped up and I have to have it done at the beginning of the year. If I don't have it done by the second or third or fourth or fifth or whatever, I'm not going to do it. I give up. I'm not going to do it. Um, and or they've done resolutions and those are falling apart. 85% of people's resolutions have went out the door by January 25th. They're gone. They haven't done them. It fell apart. They did it for 5 days, 2 days, 1 day, blah, 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 blah. So I'm really, really seeing a trend of a lot of people are starting things the end of January, beginning of February. Um, I've seen motivational, um, you know, coaches starting their programs in February. I've seen, I follow a motivational speaker. His program's not starting until February. A lot of people wait till February because everybody's so focused on new you, new me, new, and people don't finish what they start and then they get discouraged and then they're stuck. So a lot of people are a lot of different coaches are starting that. And I'm really seeing that as a trend right now is a, start January 31st, start next week in the beginning of February and so on and so forth. And I'll be honest, my January was nothing short of everything can be backwards and upside down and sideways. And I'm really glad I didn't have goals that I had to like super be on top of. It's probably the first time I didn't do it that way. But yeah, my personal life it's been crazy. Everything from houses with no heats and busted water pipes and sickness and everything in between. So I'm super grateful that I didn't have to. I had goals and I'm working. I worked the whole time. But I focused more on my clients and other things than I did about goals for my actual business. Um, but I did start 2 weeks ago, start working on those, but they're more set to start next week. So I'm even following that strategy. Um, I know a lot of people that are like, can we like refund January? Like, can we start the whole year over? And I'm like, yeah, you can start your year over next week. It is possible. So it very much is on trend, and I'm not much on trend person, but I am really seeing that most even a lot of coaches in a lot of industries are like February. February is fine. You do not have to have it all together by January 1st. Most of us are digging out from underneath holidays and health and wealth and or lack of wealth and all the other things that we have to worry about in the beginning of the year. So if your business goals had to take a back seat, you're actually right on time. You're not late. So giving you that permission, sometimes we need to somebody needs to sometimes give us that permission, be like, hey, I didn't have my goals yet. I'm like, cool, let's go. Let's start now. We don't have to be distraught over the fact we don't. So yeah. Okay. So 85% of people's resolutions have went out the window. A lot of people are not starting their goals until February. Goals are the target you're trying to reach. So that's what we've covered so far. Go ahead, Peter.
Oh, no, I can wait until you're
Oh,
done.
okay. Yeah. So I just want to go over some strategies and tips for goals. Um, Goals are not just something to do something. Like if somebody asks you what your goals are and you're like, I have 20 goals, and I'll be like, okay, well, that won't work. The science is behind it that 20 goals doesn't work. 3 to 5, 3 to 5, 3 to 5, 3 to 5 is the mathematical proven component. Three immediate goals like a year or less, and then 2 longer term goals is what has been proven to work. When you have 20 goals in 20 different areas of your business or your life and or all the above, how the heck are you going to focus on those? I mean, seriously. I have mini plates and mini balls in the air, however you want to call it. Yeah, if I have one in each like kind of area, that can be 6 or 7 there. So I'm very careful on how many goals I set. Even that my weekly goal setting group, I'm like 3, no more than 3. If you pick a fourth, let it be something that it's okay if you don't meet. Like seriously, don't make it something that's like earth shattering, but this is a bonus goal. But I really do say pick 3 is the best, but they do say 3 to 5 is a good expectation. And again, goals aren't goals just to have something to do. You want them to be practical. They won't, that must be, goals also need to be something that you want. You want for your business. You want to do. You're more likely to do something if you set the goal, if you write the goal and you're involved in creating the goal, than if your business coach creates it or your marketing coach or your business partner or whatever. You have to have some skin in the game, as I call it. Like you have to have some investment in it. Um, I've seen personally myself do that. If somebody else creates the goal for me, I am probably this much likely to actually do it. Where I'm way more likely. One component for me to be successful is that I have to help write it, have to be investment, I have to agree to it to do that. So there's definitely different types of goal setting you can do. One of the most popular one is smart goals, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bound. So basically, um, you know, I'm going to make 100 million in 2 months. Like, is that realistic? Hey, maybe you sell products that start at 50K, maybe it is. But you have to be realistic. Or I want 20 clients in the next 2 months. Okay, like, unless you're selling something that is either big group programs or stuff, and you're a small business, that's probably not a reality. So I always say you don't absolutely have to do smart goals as far as planning. If those don't, I didn't do them for a long time, and I wrote an article about that. Some people need something much more simpler than getting stuck in I have to have the SMART all figured out, and then they don't do it. They do nothing, or they don't set anything. So I'm like, please don't let that be the issue. Like, set a goal, set the 3 things that you think that, how the 3 reasons you're doing the goal, and then the secret sauce is the action plan, guys. What are the steps? Reverse engineer the goal. What are the steps you're going to take to get to that goal? And as detailed as possible, these steps need to be pretty much another goal, aka a mini goal. Who, where, what, when, how, and every single step. Because you need to know who's doing it. Is it you? Is it your team? Is it something you need to go outsource? What are they doing? What are you doing? What are they doing? When are they doing it? How are they doing it? And why are they doing it? Oh, because my Sondra said on, the YouTube channel that I should do it this way. Okay, well, yay. But that's actually a reason that should be the why. I mean, you should really understand why you're doing that. I like to do a blog post as one. You research your ideas, you create a list of ideas you want, you have somebody research the topic, or you research the topic, then you write it and edit it in a graphic, then you post it, and then you market it. All of those are all those steps. It's not, I'm going to write a blog post. That's great. How, when, where, who? Oh, yeah, I'm going to write a blog post this week. Okay. Okay. So there's a who. What are you writing on? Oh, I don't know. It'll come to me. Okay, sure. Some people are super creative. That's amazing. If they could just sit down and write a blog post, that's great. 80% of us aren't going to sit down and write a blog post. That's the 20%. So I try to deal with the 80%, not the 1%ers, the 5%ers, the 20%ers that do things really on point, because the reality is most of us are in the 80%. Most of us need those steps to write a blog post. And I used to have blogs published monthly. So yes, all those steps. I had an editor, I had a graphic designer, somebody post it, somebody write me, social media posts. So always like that one because people can relate to that. Oh yeah, I don't just I know book editors are like, yeah, book editing is not a one-time thing. You go through like 5 rounds and proofreading and da 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 da. So it's usually not as simple as you think it is. So definitely. Some of the pitfalls are making goals that are just not a right now goal, I guess is what I want to call it. I love my creative entrepreneurs, but some things are not a right now. Some things are, that's a great idea. Let's put it in what I call the parking lot and let's revisit it. So if you already have 4 businesses and you want to, I don't know, go back and get your PhD. Okay, you're running 4 businesses. Can you truly really work on your work on your PhD right now? Is that really realistically, put your calendar up, show me how this is fitting into your time schedule. You got your own health goals, which is why I love doing goals on both sides of the world. are both sides, life and business. So truly, how detrimental is this to your health goals if you're going to school and running 4 businesses and. So I never say a goal is stupid. It's a lot about it is timing and getting the details down so that you know it's obtainable. Yeah, you can have amazing big ideas and be super creative. That is not a problem. Never is a problem. It's really just about of what resources do you have, including time, whether it's your time, your team's time, or anything else. Does it make sense? Does it make sense right now? Which is why I say, write it down so that you don't lose it, because I don't want you to lose those amazing creative ideas. But what I find is that most creative, super creative entrepreneurs love that better than going, oh, that's not great. You just crushed them. You just crushed their you just crushed their spirit and their creativity. And I'm like, no, I just don't do that. Some goals will make me scratch my head and I'll be like, okay, well, like let's reverse engineer and figure out how we're gonna do that. I definitely don't have marketing strategy, business strategy, all that stuff. I usually say go get the strategy and I'll break the goal. I'll break it down into small bite-sized pieces. That's how I come in to play. Because people are like, oh, you're a business coach. And I'm like, no, I'm the person that helps you get the business strategy done. So keyword, get it done. So, but have somebody like that. Have somebody in your circle that's like, okay, you have all these big goals and big dreams and big strategies. Okay, now what's the day-to-day, the grind that a lot of coaches and business coaches don't want to do. They want you to just go do it, which is great. Again, 80% of us aren't going to just go do it. It's just, that's the truth. Which is where accountability comes into that, and having somebody, whether it's a friend, a business partner, a group, a coach, co-working, all the different resources, the way you could do that. So, and then the other thing is just reviewing your goals. Minimum monthly, weekly is preferable, just so that you know you're staying on track. Because if you do monthly and 4 weeks in, day 4, it went sideways and you didn't realize it or chose not to realize it, then you've wasted 3.5 weeks. So review. I know I say that all the time. But I was just saying this morning in group goal setting, I'm like, I need to write my goals for the week in front of me. So they're in front of me. So I see them on a daily basis. Because when I come back in on the next Monday, I'll be like, oh, wait a minute. That was a goal. And I'll be honest, this week I only made 1 out of the 3 goals. And I say, shoot, I could have done something different probably to get the other 2 goals done. So keeping them in front of you visually is extremely important. The other thing is that your brain does better if you type or write it out. Like it doesn't have to be daily. Even if you just do it weekly, it just brings it front to mind. Our mind is going in a zillion million directions all the time. So keeping that in front of you, front of mind. I know people that write their top 3 tasks that pertain to those goals for every day. I've seen that method done. Writing does do something different versus typing. So there is science behind that. But I am a typer. I do all mine digital. But I do know a lot of people that do write, and that's a good methodology for them. So yeah, set the goals, create the action plan, review them, and be realistic are probably my top 4 things around goal setting and action plans. All right, I want to open it up for conversation. All right, Peter, come on in.
Oh, okay. I think first of all, I'm going to agree with you. New Year's, I didn't set any resolutions. None. 0. I find them to be a letdown. It's almost like you set yourself up to let yourself down because you're in the heat of the moment. You're like, I'm going to do this year. And then on January the 1st, you forgot what you said. It was kind of pointless. And then I also want to distinguish the difference between setting goals and dreams. A dream is the end goal, not your goals. It's 2 different things. You cannot just go, by the end of this year, I want to be a successful businessman. Great. That's going to help you a lot. What goals are multiple steps to achieve a dream. So in order to achieve a dream, you've like Sondra said, you've got to reverse engineer it and figure out what are those steps. And maybe some of those steps have multiple steps to it. You really have to break it down. So when you achieve a goal, it's not like you're achieving your dream. You're achieving a step towards your dream. And I think that's a mistake a lot of people make. They're like, okay, well, this year I'm going to be the most successful at this. Okay, great. And like Sandra said, how are you going to do that? What are you going to do daily to get to that point? Do you even know what's required? Um, so, and I think that, and just because we're achieving a step, and achieving a step doesn't feel like you're achieving your dream. It doesn't feel like it, and it never will feel like it. But if you don't do those steps, you will never actually reach the dream. So I think my advice to people would be make it achievable, because there is there is nothing worse than setting yourself a goal that you cannot achieve, not achieve it, and then holding yourself accountable like a lot of humans do. You're like, oh my goodness me, I couldn't even do that. Fail. There is no, you have to set up your goals in such a way that the steps that you are taking are achievable each day. If it's something that's not achievable in a day, then set it as a goal to be achieved over a time period. I mean, like, but don't set your goals up like today I'm begging for bread and tomorrow I'm going to be a millionaire. It just doesn't work that way. So this is where it's great to be surrounded by people that are in business, that are entrepreneurs, that have walked the road before, been there, done that. If you find that your dream is to be much like somebody else, you look at that person, you're like, oh my goodness me, my dream is to be just like that. Well, then do yourself a favor and find out what did they have to do to get there, because they didn't just become like that. They didn't just snap their fingers and like magically, like they walked a road, and that road was tough, and it had steps that they had to take, and that there were things that they had to do, things that they had to put in place, relationships they had to build, people they had to meet, conversations they needed to have. If you don't know what those steps are, find out. Because 9 times out of 10, you're going to find out what the steps are and think, well, goodness me, do I still want to be that? There is a lot involved in reaching your dreams. So don't let yourself down by creating a space where you cannot achieve the things that you set out to achieve. Make sure it's achievable, and then plod along and do it.
I love that. I love that, Peter. Also, when you're approaching somebody that you think you want to be like, ask them to tell you not just the good, but the bad and the ugly. Because I've seen behind curtains, and yep, nope. Not only did I not want to be like them, I didn't even want to be associated with them anymore. I'm like, okay, how you got here is definitely does not match my values in any way, shape, or form. So, peace. Like, literally was like, yeah. And I was like, why? Where'd you go? And I'm just like, you know what? I'm not, it's not my place to talk about somebody's back end business behind the curtain. I'm like, I just decided that wasn't my path and moved on. And honestly say it was really hard because I was embedded into the community and so on and so forth. So be okay with it not looking like you think it should, or be okay with the person maybe doing things that you don't find right. And know that there's a possibility. Most of the time people are legit. I'm not gonna say they're not, but there are times, and I was just, yeah, it was eye-opening. So definitely make sure you're okay with seeing behind the curtain and seeing what's really going on. I think the other thing I liked what you said is that, dreaming's not, yeah, we want you to dream. I want you to have creative goals. I want you to do all those things. But you also have to be in the reality. When your head is always in the dream cloud, you're not going to get anything done. That's just you're in the dream cloud, and you're just like, it's kind of like you're on vacation. You don't do anything. You're in that mode, and that mode is great. for a short period of time. So make sure you come back down to earth and be like, okay, now what do I need to actually do? And yes, the tasks day to day are not always fun. They're not always shiny and pretty and, all the things that people want them to be, but still celebrate them. Celebrate those tasks because those are the things you have to do to get where you want to go. And people are like, oh, I didn't do anything this week. Did you, post on social media? Did you write an email? Did you write a newsletter? Well, yeah, but those didn't get me, a high-paying client right today. And I'm like, okay, but those are the steps you have to take to get there. So celebrate those steps because, like you said, people get discouraged. They're like, I'm taking these steps and I'm not getting this end goal right now. Okay, one, consistency, and it's a big C word that a lot of people don't like, including myself. But if you're not being consistent on those small steps, it's really hard to get to that big reward or big thing you're wanting to accomplish. Yes, you have to tweak it. If you're reviewing, you have to tweak it. So maybe the steps you did in week 1 are not the same steps you do in week 2. You make a change or a little tweak or change direction, or sometimes you have to fully pivot depending on what you want to accomplish. Or maybe you get that end goal and decide that was not really what I wanted. It did not make me feel feelings. It did not make me feel X, Y, and Z, and I want to feel X, Y, and Z. Okay, well, if you're gonna, okay, don't try not to do goal setting based on your feelings, but there are feelings tied to everything. But know that sometimes you can get to the end goal and still not be happy with it and be like, okay, what do I need to do next? Or what do I need to change? Or what direction do I need to go into? And that's fine. Honestly, it's fine. Not everything's going to make you happy even when you accomplish it. That's just life. You change, things change. I'm not the same Sondra I was when I started my business 5 years ago. You're not. It's going to change. So be okay with that. Because some people get to the end goal and are like, wait, I thought I was going to feel blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay. So what do you truly feel? Yeah, it's a lot of work and I don't think it was worth it. Okay, cool. Now you know it wasn't worth it. And now you can move on to something else. And people are like, but I got to the goal. I'm like, we're going to celebrate you got to the goal. That's great. But if it didn't accomplish what you wanted to accomplish, then we move on and do something different and make a new goal and keep going. But yes, we still celebrate the goal that you don't necessarily think you needed to get to or didn't give you the feelings for sure. For sure. Mr. Levy, come on in. I'm sure you have lots to say. Good evening.
A lot of it's been said already. So I think real pearls of wisdom that came from you and Pete. And I think, I often think about resolutions. One good thing for it is, get rid of resolutions and bring in goals. And because resolutions are normally is just at that moment in time, when the clock strikes 12 on the new year. And I say that because I've mastered it. Not carrying out all the resolutions, but making them. And I think, there's to have that dream or vision that you certainly need to have something, because that's going to give you direction. And I think there's things that I've kind of questioned around myself, or people have questioned me, is I think Sondra one's going to be very careful about letting people actually take your dream away from you. It's too big, and I've experienced that. And then you need to trust yourself, and go for it. But go for it with the understanding that there's no guarantees in life. And I think that's where the goal setting comes in, is have that dream, what is it? But immediately after, when you have a clear picture of what it is, then you must ask yourself why. As you said, correctly said, why do you want to achieve that dream? That's important. And you really need to sit and unpack why you want to achieve it, because as soon as you understand why, that's what's going to get you through when you hit those challenging hard times, or those hard times, because there ain't no smooth journey to achieving that dream. So you're going to hit the wall sometimes, and you need to understand why you want to achieve it. That's going to pull you through. I have another question. There are kind of three that I have. So why do you want to do it? And then the next question I ask, if they're very clear on the why, is how much do you want to do it? And it can be as simple as a scale of 1 to 10. And in my own mind, and again, it's personal experience, but I've set a benchmark is that if it's 7's like borderline. If it's less than that, you're not ready to take this on. And then the next question after that, because generally people will say, say, how much do you want it? Say, generally, sometimes they say 10 out of 10 or so 12 out of 10. And they say, okay, are you prepared to do what it takes to achieve that? And then there's generally a pause. And they don't answer so quickly, and it's very rarely, is it a 10? Might be an 8 or something, but or go find out, as you correctly said earlier, what does it take? Well, Peter said it. What does it take to achieve that? And the goals, I think, are the roadmap to, because you mentioned reverse engineering. So once you know where you want to go and why you want to get there, reverse engineer that, and then there's steps to get there. You need to know where you are, and then what steps do you need to get from where you are to where you want to go to. And the reason I use the word roadmap is because if you see it as a blueprint and you don't achieve one of those goals on the way to your destination, you're going to think that you failed. You just didn't get there when you expected to. Doesn't mean you failed. Or like that famous Carol Dweck book, The Power of Yet. You just haven't got there yet. Doesn't mean that you can't get there. And I think the roadmap is very important because it serves as a reference point for you to, how am I on track, or am I as I expected, or am I not? And if I'm not, again, you said it, so it's go and check why not. Don't give up. Don't throw it out the window. Just go and check why not. Things happen. And you might need to, as you said, take a different road, or you might need to detour. You can still get to where you want to go. I think one of the biggest things that I've experienced also is you have a vision. And this my brother and I did. And then we lived in the vision instead of, we weren't even close to it. And we saw ourselves there. And we just lived there. Anyway, that didn't last too long. So yeah, I think that's good. But having said that, I think visualization is also good. So have this clear picture of your vision, and then visualize what it looks like to get there. And focus on each goal. It's like the guys climbing, and when I say guys, I'm referring to male and female, that climbing Everest. They know where Camp 1, 2, 3, and 4, and the summit is. They've seen it, maybe not in reality, but they have a picture of it. But the only focus is Camp 1. Because if they don't make it past Camp 1, what's the point of worrying about the summit? It's no point even worrying about Camp 2. And they can go between base camp and Camp 1 2 or 3 times to acclimatize and so on. So yes, the idea is, I would imagine, to get past Camp 1 first time, but it doesn't generally work like that. So it's no different in what we set up for our goals, be they personal or business. And I think that's important. And then just the last thing I would like to comment on is what you said is very important, is have three things, maybe four. And it brings me back to an exercise, and I'm going to share personal experience with the famous to-do list. So I have, as I'm sure we all do, every day, we just add on to, we take things off, but then we add on to that to-do list. So it never ends. And what I've done, and I only started this last year, I would have the to-do list and say, okay, I've got 15 things. I can't focus on all 15. So what are the important ones that I want to focus on? And I would put an asterisk next to them. But I still struggle to even get those done. Why? And this is only personal for Stephen. So why? Because I saw them with the asterisk, but I still saw the other 12 things with them. So what I did is, instead of putting an asterisk, I took those out the to-do list book and I put them on a separate piece of paper the night before and said, this is, so now I only saw 3 things. As you said, it just reminded me of the story. The 3 things, and I put it on my laptop. So tomorrow morning when I get up, I've got 3 things in front of me. I take which one do I want to work on now, and then I turn the paper over so I don't even see those 3 things. And it's amazing how it works when you're just focused on what you need to do. How much time it saves you and how quickly you can actually get things done. That's why your company is called Get Things Done, Get It Done. And that's why you do what you do. So yeah, that's it. I'm taking up too much time. But yeah, I think it's awesome what you're doing and what you and Peter have contributed so far. So let me give Megan a chance before I take up the whole thing here.
Thank you, Mr. Levy. Yes, pick 3 is scientific, and I always say, yeah, pick the top 3. And a lot of people do have to write on a separate sheet of paper because their brain gets wrapped up in doing everything on the to-do list, and then pick those 3. You can go back and pick 3 more. People are like, I'm only gonna do 3 things in a day. No, you're not gonna only do 3 things in a day, but you're going to get those 3 things done. And sometimes I say, pick that one thing that you dread doing, because then you will feel so accomplished. Okay, so mine is anything with financials, bookkeeping, any of those stuff. I'll be like, yeah, that goes to the bottom, that goes to the bottom, that goes to the bottom. Getting way better at it. But today, it was Monday, so today I had the bank account open and I had because some things didn't come through on Friday. I'm like, let me just go deal with this now. They didn't come through and I need to go do emails. Let me just do it and have it knocked off my list. Thankfully, everything came through and I don't have to write any emails. But I dealt with it first. A lot of people find that helps motivate them to get more things done in the day too. I got the hardest thing off my plate. Some people the opposite. Some people need little wins along the way. So let me pick the 3 easier things to do, or the 3 things I enjoy, because that's going to make me happy and that's going to keep me motivated. You have to do you. You have to figure out what works for you. So if it's the hardest, pick the hardest. If it's easiest, pick the easiest. If it's a mixture of today I ain't feeling it, I got to go do, I just need something, a win. I didn't sleep, baby's sick, whatever. I just need some quick wins. Go do those 3 quick wins. You might change it day to day. You tell I have a grandbaby that's sick. So those quick wins. Hey, I got out of bed and I took a shower. I don't smell like the baby anymore. But yeah, sometimes you have to do the quick wins, sometimes you have to do the hard things, and then everything in between. I always say, at least pick something that is going to move you towards your goal. Whether that is set up 3 coffee chats, or I don't know, to go network in a group or go to a networking meeting, but at least pick one for that. And then sometimes you just have to pick whatever else is going to make your day go smoother. And either write them on a piece of paper or put them on your calendar. Most of us live and die by that calendar. So task 1, task 2, task 3, between on your calendar, you can send reminders, alarms, everything in between, especially when you have, I don't know, I had like 6 meetings on Friday, y'all. I was like, what the heck? I was like, but I still have to get things done. So then it was like, okay, what are the top 3 I have to get done? Where is it going to slot into this calendar? Because it's crazy and this is not my normal Friday. I try not to have any meetings on Friday. To have 6 was just crazy. And I was mentally tired by 5 o'clock. I was like, I'm done. Like, it's Friday. I'm very done. So I was glad I had them written down and I didn't have to go off memory, because it would have not gone done at all. So definitely. All right, Megan, come on in. Time flies when we're having fun.
Megan, sorry, I got to just chip in here because I'm looking at Marlon, and Marlon's moving towards his goal, but he's staying in the same place.
Very true, very true.
He's not a kid.
Awesome,
But he is
awesome.
moving towards his goal.
Yes, he's walking. Awesome.
He's
All right.
moving.
Yes, he's moving.
Yeah.
He's moving. Go ahead, Megan.
Thank you very much, Sondra. Yeah, thanks for letting me in here. And I think the first thing that struck me very early on in the conversation, Sondra, is when you mentioned about the trend or the movement towards not setting resolutions, for the 1st of January. And the one thing that really got me and landed with me was a post that I saw that said, start Thursday, start on the 10th, start in October, but start. And I think that's something really important to keep in mind, that the start is the important thing, right? Everything else gets built on the fact that you are prepared to start and get the project and the goal moving. And then I just want to throw in just a couple of notes I made here. There's so many great things that everyone's mentioned, but stop comparing yourself. I think that's a really big one for a lot of people, because, you know, we see things happening. We see people on social media all the time. We see our peers doing things, and we get lost along the way because we're too busy comparing ourselves and wondering why we can't hit the same goals, when realistically it's not even part of our vision. So it's really important to stay in your lane, if you will, and just keep your focus going towards your vision. And the goals will be easier to plan, assimilate, and achieve in that way, I think. And then also just that constant reevaluation. I think, Sondra, you also mentioned this earlier. The weekly reevaluation, very good idea, because through that action weekly, you're going to gain additional clarity, and you're going to actually get to a point where you know exactly where you are in respect of your goal, whatever the timeline might be. And it doesn't become a chore or an action you've got to do. It becomes what you're doing every day. And that's the place you need to get to. And then last but not least, just to reference to something Mr. Levy added there as well, the passion has to be there. The vision has to be there. You have to be able to see yourself in it, and you have to be able to at least know that you're passionate about it, because that's, in my opinion, where everything starts. So I just wanted to throw that into the mix. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Megan. Yes, definitely. And writing things down in black and white and evaluating them in black and white takes out the feelings. You might not like what's on the paper, but it does take out the feelings because it's in black and white, and I'm a feelings girl. So truly, when I have to put it in black and white, I'll be like, I don't want to, because I know that it might not make me feel great to put it in black and white, but it's in black and white. Time flies when we are having fun. And one of the new things this year is keeping the show at 45 minutes. So we are going to wrap up. I am super grateful for everybody on the panel that's helping with these topics and helping bring a different perspective. So that's extremely important. It's not just my way. Megan has her way, Mr. Levy has his way, Marlon has his way, Peter has his way. We're all different for a reason, and that's the reason we have a panel discussion versus just a person blabbing forever and ever, because we want to give you different perspectives so that you can grow your business. The goal of the show is to help entrepreneurs build their businesses. So my name is Sondra. I am the owner of Get It Done Coaching, and I help people achieve their goals by creating bite-sized action plans. I also do workshops and speaking events around all things goals and brain dumping and quarterly review and everything else. My next workshop is in March 20th, the Quarterly Compass. Is open for registration, and I know that Miss Susan will put the link in the show notes. She also puts our LinkedIn links in the show notes, so you can always schedule a time with us to meet. We love to learn about our audience. And Susan does our descriptions, show covers, and she turns our show into a podcast on Spotify. So make sure you're following us over there. Share, like, and subscribe to everything, because that's how we reach more entrepreneurs all over the world. We are worldwide. Entrepreneurship is our main goal. So definitely make sure you share and invite people to the show, because people need to hear this information that's going to help them. And that's one free resource you can give them. So Peter, you want to wrap us up?
Awesome. I think it's incredible to have so many talented people in one place. And I think for the audience, when you're starting up your own business, if I had access to people like this when I started my first business, I would have succeeded a whole lot sooner. So if you're out there and you're battling, then they're right here. So, take advantage of that and click on their links, and they're available for conversations and open to meeting new people, which is absolutely great. I like surrounding myself with people like that. But I think that brings us to the end of the show. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll end it off with a quote from Miss Nestine Botha. Still is Botha, technically. And it's may all your wildest entrepreneurial dreams come true. Peace out.
See you guys, same place, same time next week.